you don't have a proper mental state, everything that you do is just not going to be as effective as it could be. And this viewer here has everything but a good mental state. And the reason I say that is because of the way he reacts off of situations like this one here, where he died, but it was ultimately his fault. And the way he reacts off to that, is the reason why I think this way. You can have the best aim in the world, you can have the best mechanics, the best thought process, the best positioning. If you don't have a proper state of mind and perspective to the game, all of that means nothing to me. None of it means anything to me. What is going on, guys? 821 Mayo here, and today we are going to be having ourselves another viewer VOD review video. Now, before we actually jump into the video, I quickly want to mention that I am now doing coaching. So if you guys are interested in that, there's a link to my Patreon down below in the description where you can find all of the information you need and more, and any questions you may have can all be answered there. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, there's a whole bunch of information. So any questions that you guys might have, all of them can be answered there. And if they're not answered there, send me a DM or come into my Twitch chat, ask me a question there. On my Patreon, you can find different tiers for coaching. So whether that be a 1-hour coaching session or a VOD review like this, but much more in-depth and much more information dense. So if you guys are wanting to kind of skip the line, so to speak, in the Google form and just go straight into a VOD review, into a Discord call with me, that is the best place to do so. I also want to mention that 45% of you guys are unsubscribed. So if you guys have not hit that sub button already, I would really appreciate it. We're coming up on 50K subs, so, if you guys want to be a part of that, make sure you guys hit that sub button. Also, hit the like button, and you want to know why? Because I was recording halfway through, and I actually wasn't recording. So I got halfway through this VOD, and I wasn't recording. So can we get a like in the video for my dumbass not recording? And can we also get a like on the video, because I guarantee you, this is going to be one of the most important VOD review videos that I've made pretty much ever, I would say. It's a lot on the mental side of this game, so if you guys are interested in that and just want to learn about how to have a proper mentality, leave a like on the video, because this is a good VOD. And lastly, before we jump into the VOD, I also want to mention that I have a second channel. So as you're watching this video, it is Saturday the 20th. So tomorrow on my second channel, I'm going to have some exclusive content for you guys, some very important content on the upcoming new season, Crimson Heist. So if you guys want information on that, make sure you guys go sub to my second channel and be ready for the video tomorrow, and also on my main channel. So second channel and main channel are both going to have some exclusive content for the upcoming season. And so if you guys want to be prepared and overall just be ready for the new season, make sure you guys check out those two videos that are going to be coming out very, very soon. But with all of that being said and myself plugging out of the way, let's jump into the VOD. So the first thing I want to go over in this actual VOD is the fact that you're going Nomad, which I really love to see. Nomad is a super strong and influential operator on Consulate, especially with how many runouts there are. So good job on recognizing the fact that Nomad is open and you're also playing Consulate. One thing that this viewer is doing in this VOD review that I really love to see, and is the first time that I've ever seen before, is the fact that he's giving me information while he's playing. So he's telling me what he's doing, why he's doing it, and how he's going to do it, which is a super important thing to do, especially if you guys are wanting to submit a VOD into the Google form and you don't want to I don't want to say pay to win, because it isn't, because I'm also doing this for free. But if you guys, don't want to really pay for a VOD review session, which by the way, I do VOD reviews on my Patreon. It's $20. I feel like that's pretty reasonable, and I also do it for console players as well, if you guys are interested. But yeah, giving me this information of telling me why he's doing something or how he's going to do it is really helping me a lot, because instead of me having that disconnect there, I can actually understand why you're doing something as a player, so that way I can help understand you better and help you more if I ever do see a mistake come up. So really good job if you guys are wanting to submit a VOD into the form and not really wanting to pay the $20 for the private session, then doing what he's doing here is really important. Okay, right here. What you need to realize as soon as you walk into bathroom and see these holes, once I get this right moment here, once you walk into bathroom and see these holes, it's important to realize that you should be playing off of these angles instead of the doorway, because you peek the doorway here and you ultimately miss the shot. And also, if you go back and play frame by frame, you also see the smoke through the bathroom holes. But the reason I'm saying this is because now what you're doing, instead of peeking the holes that were pre-made for you, you're now peeking into an angle that's always going to be on this map no matter what, which is the bathroom door, right? So the predictability of your positioning is already going up by you just peeking a simple doorway instead of peeking the holes, because it's on the map every single round, right? The doorway is always here. The holes that are on the bathroom wall looking to connect or through baguette aren't. So use that to your advantage. Maybe Peek one side, bait out the crosshair placement from the smoke plane connector, and then peek the bathroom door, whatever it is you feel like doing. But, you know, don't cross and then immediately peek the door, because that's where he's going to be expecting you.
Long desk, dude. No meeting.
So this is what I mean by this VOD being good. So it'll get much worse during the VOD, trust me. And I'm going to go much more in depth on this and the whole mentality side of this game. But yeah, like stuff like that is not a good thing at all. Just give the call out. Be in control of your emotions. It's very, very important. But it's also important to realize that you're exposing yourself to that angle. You know, so far, before I was recording, or when I should have been recording and I made that mistake, I was giving the player a lot of praise and the viewer a lot of praise of how well he was playing the game. Because, you know, his situational awareness and decision making is really, really solid. And it's very refreshing for me to see. But, you know, I'll go more in depth on why I don't really think that way anymore about this viewer and why I don't feel that way. But yeah, you know, that simple call out of that emotion behind the call out is not a good thing at all. Just give the call out to your teammate and then let him play the round out.
Is that Mozzie?
This is a really good read here. So this is what I meant just a moment ago about situational awareness. So a lot of players probably won't pick up on this watching this video, and that's no disrespect to you guys, but just situational awareness. I get like tens and tens of messages a day, maybe even hundreds sometimes, of players asking, how do I increase situational awareness, stuff like that, or question formulated around, you know, situational awareness. And it's a good thing to see, and a refreshing thing to see what you did here. So this Mozzie ran out for a split second, as you just saw, and killed a teammate outside. And then you immediately after this look yellow stairs, and then you hear the Mozzie there, and then the Zofia kills someone, and then you immediately ask right after, is that Mozzie? Excellent. Beautiful. I love seeing this in a viewer in just a VOD review. It's very refreshing for me to see because I don't see it a lot. This is probably like the third or fourth time that I've actually seen it out of almost 50 episodes of this series. So excellent job there. Really, really good. That's a nice shot there as well. Played the angle right, swung after the Legion swung while pre-firing and shooting. But I would like to see you play that angle a little bit more reserved and backed up away from the bathroom reinforcement. Because if you play that close, you're exposing yourself to the meeting rotate like how you died last round. So, you know, situational awareness is good, but decision making and positioning can definitely be worked on just because of that simple mistake there that could have gotten you killed again, right? And you don't want to commit, or you don't want to make the same mistake twice. It's just never a good thing to do.
He's long. Let's go, baby! Let's get it!
Having positive emotion is a really, really good thing in this game. An excellent thing, especially in a competitive environment. Having positive emotions are really good for hyping your team up and amping them up and making them feel invested. And it's also really good for players like it's_Weasel, because currently he's 0-2. So he's kind of feeling a little bit down bad, as these Zoomers like to say nowadays. So, you know, reinforcing that positive energy and just bringing that positive energy overall is really, really good for the team's morale and mentality. But I'm going to end up biting my own words here in just a moment when we go further into the VOD, and you'll see exactly why. All right, so this is the moment that I've been leading this whole VOD review up to. This is the furthest that I've gotten to this VOD review before I forgot to start recording. Or before I started recording and when I forgot to start. And I'm just going to play the situation out, and then I'll break it all down.
No, don't even worry about Maverick.
Drone will my. You droned him out. You saw him garage.
They might be Kai tricking. No, I'm not sure.
You go for wall. You get wall open. Hold an angle. Pre-fire boxes. Very common angle to play and kind of for people to position themselves around. And then we go further into the round.
Circle desk. 1 HP circle.
What the f? He's right there. You're aiming where he's at.
Try. And that's the moment where everything collapsed. So I literally said the words. I was praising this viewer. I said, I was praising you up until this point, of that point there, that moment. And now everything that I've said positively about you doesn't mean shit to me. I literally said that phrase word for word, because it doesn't. Mentality is the Me personally, in my opinion, and I try to apply a lot of life aspects to this game and how I look at it, and mentality in real life, and your just mental state overall. I'm not talking about mental health in specific. I just mean your mentality, the way you look at things and the way you take information and deal with it. Mentality, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, you know, people can disagree with me and that's fine. The way I look at this game, and the number one most important thing about it, is mentality. Because everything is processed through your brain, and everything you think you want to do is once a thought during a round, right? Like everything, literally everything. Okay, you think to yourself, I want to go here, I want to use my utility here, I want to plant here, whatever it is. That is all a thought at one point. And then it stems off, and then you apply that thought during a round in manipulating a map or going for a plant, literally whatever situation it is. It goes from point A of being a thought in your mind to point B, or, you know, just a point B of that travel of the thought, and then you expressing it through your operator during a round. Whether that be through droning or using your utility, literally whatever it is. And when you don't have a proper mental state, everything that you do is just not going to be as effective as it could be. And this viewer here has everything but a good mental state. And the reason I say that is because of the way he reacts off of situations like this one here, where he died, but it was ultimately his fault. And the way he reacts off to that, is the reason why I think this way. You can have the best aim in the world, you can have the best mechanics, the best thought process, the best positioning. If you don't have a proper state of mind and perspective to the game, all of that means nothing to me. None of it means anything to me. And that's just my opinion. You guys can disagree with me, that's completely fine. But if we go back and play the situation out, right? And we already know the whole story, but just so I can provide some more context here. If we go back, you see the Wamai clear as day. You also call it out to your teammate that someone's hard right breach or someone's close.
No, don't even worry about Maverick. Don't worry about Maverick. They're not even bandit tricking.
You saw this guy, and then you also said they're not bandit tricking, so I was actually wrong about the portion of saying that you called it out to your teammates. But I know you know that you saw that guy. I know for a fact. Because you were expecting your teammate to hold the angle, right? Exactly. That's how I know that you know that he's there. But since your mentality is so unbelievably positive, you completely push it off to your teammate and have this negative emotion reaction to it. I'm gonna really break this down because I've thought about mentality, about life, and this game a lot. I've thought about it a lot. And that's why I think the way I do. In terms of why mentality is so important to me. So what I said earlier about having positive emotion and having a great benefit to you and your team, having a negative reaction will have the same amount of effect, but in a negative way or even more. Because people tend to take negative reactions and negative energy much deeper than positive ones, at least from my experience, especially in this game. I don't know why, it's probably something to do with psychology or something like that, but just from my experience and situations, people always take negative energy much deeper and they feel it much more. They feel it, right? Because when it comes to being hyped about you clutching that 1v2 the round previously, you felt that emotion. You felt it to your core. Your teammates didn't feel it as much. And you held yourself back from, saying these things to your teammate that ultimately got you killed because you made a mistake, blaming it on your teammate. You held that back. You weren't talking in game when you said that, which is the right step in the right direction. So for you as the viewer, you need to straighten your act up. I'm going to put it simply like that, because you have the aim, you have the decision making, positioning can be worked on. But these are all critiques. These are very minor things. If you have all of these things and still lack mentality, you have no value to me as a player. None. Absolutely none. So yeah, that's kind of my my whole spiel on mentality and stuff like that. I could go much more into depth on this, like much more, but I'm not going to, just for the sake of the length of the VOD. I do plan on making a video in the near future that I've wanted to make for months. That will be posted in public for everyone to see. So it's going to be a long video, but I don't want to give too much away because the video means a lot to me on a personal level. So yeah, expect to see that video very soon. But yeah, you have to work on your mentality. That's the number one thing that's holding you back. Number one thing.
Oh my gosh! I am nutty!
Yeah, bro, yeah.
This is again what I mean by positive emotion. This is why I think the way that I think about kind of the emotional side and the amount of emotions that are invested into this game. So, you know, you are screaming and saying that you're nutty, right? And this is again what I mean by saying positive emotions don't have as much of an impact as negative ones, which is why it's important to keep your negative emotions in check. Because if you allow your emotions to control you, you are losing to your emotions. The game isn't the issue, or sorry, you're an enemy. The attackers aren't the enemy. The defenders aren't the enemy. The objective isn't the objective. Your enemy is your emotions. Your emotions are far too invested into the way you play, which is a good and a bad thing to have. Because when you ride these highs, it really allows the lows to sink in even more. And this is exactly what you're doing round by round. You had a low round last round, and then you have a high round this round. When I say positive energy and emotions don't have as much of an impact, this is a great example here. So you're screaming, saying you're nutty, and, you know, you're feeling this emotion to your core once again, right? But your teammates aren't. You know, your teammates responding with chuckling and saying, haha, yeah. That's pretty much what he said, baseline. So it's important for you as a player to recognize this and really work on it. Because if you do, you'll be a completely different player. A completely different player. If you change your one thought or your one perspective on how you look at this game and how much emotion that you allow to be invested, will change everything completely. You need to be in control of your emotions. You should never, ever, ever allow your emotions to be in control of you, because that means that you have no control. None. All right, so I've reviewed 3 rounds on attack and 3 on defense, and I'm calling this VOD here because I know for a fact that what I've already said is the number one issue. This is a very unique VOD in the sense that it's not positioning, it's not recoil control, it's not whatever you want to call it. Nothing within the game that I'm going to say to this viewer is going to change the way he plays or have as much of an impact of him changing his mentality. Because, and I've explained this to a few clients of mine over the past 2 weeks or a week or so. You need to think of skill sets in this game as a vertical set of categories. So you have the main category, and then you have a vertical effect of subcategories of that main one. So you know, you can just say positioning and then, you know, list off these other things that fall under positioning, right? So that's a subcategory of the main category, positioning. I'm just giving an example. This viewer here has every single one of those categories checked off. He's missing the most crucial one, in my opinion, which is mentality. I really believe so. He doesn't struggle with anything in game wise. The number one enemy, and I've already said this, that he has is his mentality. Himself, if that's even how you phrase that. He is his number one enemy. His mentality is his number one enemy. I will put money down on it. I've seen players like this time and time again. Back when I was on my old team months ago, like probably close to 2 years now, there used to be this player that there was just so much negative energy and emotion and just pent up, just negative shit, man. And it seemed like he hated the world for no reason. And I don't know what he went through in his childhood or upbringing or whatever it is that made him feel that way. Because I feel like on a base level, most humans are pretty positive or even neutral. Something has to happen in your life along your timeline to make you feel and think that way. And this teammate that I had was just so negative. He just hated the world for no reason. And I never understood why. And I've seen more people like this throughout my life. And I never understood it. And I'm getting a lot of vibes from this viewer, from my teammate that I was talking about. And this is such an odd situation too, because it's not the player what he does in game. It's what the player thinks while he's playing the game. It's nothing to do within the game. So if you're the viewer that's submitted this VOD and you know you want to figure out how to get better, The number one thing, and literally the only thing that you need to do, is fix your mentality. Get it in check. The only thing that I'm going to tell you is what I've already said earlier. Don't allow your emotions to control you. Be in control of your emotions. Always. Because I'm not you at the end of the day, and you're not me. So I can tell you everything that you need to do, but fixing your mentality is something that you want to do for yourself. I can tell someone how to control recoil better. I can tell them they should have positioned themselves in this situation differently. I can do that because there's an example. But when it comes to mentality, it's outside of the game. The way you think about the game and the emotions that you feel inside of it is going to be very similar to the real life day-to-day experiences that you have in your life. And I don't know how you react to these situations in real life or just bad situations, but I am going to guess and be very confident in my guess that it's very similar to what I'm seeing in this VOD here. So if you truly want to get better, you need to find it somewhere inside of yourself to fix your mentality. And this is the only thing that I'm going to tell you. The only thing. Fix your mentality. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up everything in this VOD review. So if you guys enjoyed or, you know, learned anything new or even want to have a much more in-depth conversation with me about this or just want more help in the game besides my YouTube channel, as I said at the beginning of the video, there's a link to my Patreon which will take you to my coaching. So if you guys are interested in that, head on over there, click the link in the description if you guys are interested in me coaching you. I also want to mention before I go that 45% of you guys aren't subscribed, so make sure you guys hit that sub button if you guys do want to see more content like this in the future. We're pushing for that 50K milestone, so seriously, any support is greatly appreciated. And one more thing before I go, the VOD forum is almost open again, so if you guys want to get your VODs into the forum, make sure you guys are on your toes when I'm posting these VOD review sessions, because I say it immediately in the video that the forum is open, so have your VODs on standby, be ready to submit them, and then submit them into the forum. And one very last thing before I go, I also want to mention once again that on my main channel and my second channel is going to be some very important content for the upcoming season, Crimson Heist. So if you guys want to get in on that and, you know, learn some cool ways to kind of play the season, make sure you guys check out the main channel as well as the second channel tomorrow as this video is going up. So today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday. Make sure you guys are there for that. But yeah, with all of that being said, I really do hope I helped the viewer out, because that's what I'm here to do. And if I helped you guys out, hit that like button as well. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. But with all of that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. I really do hope you learned something new, because this was a heavy VOD to review. And I will see you guys in the next video.